Died of COVID-19 in Wisconsin, 9 of those people in Waupaca County, 5 in Marathon County, and 2 in Shawano. State health officials added a new category of COVID activity to better show the impact of the virus in the state. It's critically high, and nearly every county in the state is at that level right now. The critically high category is nearly 3 times higher than every high. Both the state and 65 counties are at that level today, and according to the DHS, Wisconsin is now seeing more average cases per day than New York City did at the peak of its surge last spring. Meanwhile, COVID is surging in the U.S. with more than 136,000 new cases reported yesterday. Hospitalizations are also hitting record levels with more than 61,000 Americans currently in the hospital, with the U.S. seeing an average right now of more than 100,000 new cases a day. Texas is the first state to report more than 1 million confirmed cases. WASA's mask requirement was passed as a resolution instead of an ordinance by City Council yesterday. This means it cannot be enforced by police. WASA Mayor Katie Rosenberg says members of the council thought the enforcement methods were too harsh. She says having a rule in place is necessary, especially as we head into the holiday season.
The result is that we want to stop the spread. We don't want 7 more people to die every day.
The mask resolution goes into effect on November 21st and expires July 31st. Well, as we wrap up day 1 of Governor Tony Evers' new executive order urging Wisconsinites to stay home, why haven't area legislators been a part of the process? News 9's Victoria Saha explains.
Tuesday night's executive order wasn't like previous orders or mandates from the governor.
I've signed Executive Order 94 advising Wisconsinites to stay home to save lives. We must get back to the basics of fighting this virus just like we did last spring, and it starts at home.
This order came with advisements, not requirements. Governor Evers has been in legal battle with the GOP state lawmakers since the pandemic began on how state government should respond to the virus. First, it was a safer at home order in March, struck down by the state Supreme Court in May. Then came capacity limits, which also have been overturned. The only order still in effect is a statewide mask mandate set to expire later this month.
Please contact your congressperson and ask them to provide additional support and resources for our state's response to this virus.
But area Republican legislators say they feel like they weren't given a voice at all.
We've reached out to the governor's office to work together, and it's just like yesterday. And he's chosen to work on with his own human health and human services department, and not with the assembly.
But Democratic lawmakers say there's no one to blame.
Yes, every single person's voice as policymakers should be part of the process, but we need to be listening to the public health experts and the scientists who've been saying all along that there are simple ways to stop the spread of COVID-19, and many of those are what the governor recommended yesterday.
Both legislators say Wisconsinites can do more to help tackle the record-breaking COVID-19 cases in the state.
Thank you, Victoria. And Governor Evers' order includes staying home as much as possible, trying to work remotely, and wearing a mask. Well, Jackson, we all have to kind of get used to this new cooler weather that we're experiencing.
It sure is feeling a lot more like November, and these are normal November temperatures. However, we did get a treat to some sunshine today. November is actually the cloudiest month of the year, so it's nice to see that sunshine. As far as highs today, hitting the 40s for most of the area, upper 30s for some areas as well up to the north, but definitely a chillier day than we've been seeing the past couple of weeks. As far as the satellite and radar outside, seeing just a few clouds in the area, mostly clear skies tonight, although there is some snowfall up to our northwest. That might bring us some rain mix or snow into tomorrow. We'll have a look at that in a little bit. However, current wind speeds are still fairly light to moderate here, anywhere from 8 to 10 miles an hour. We'll see that throughout the night. And Rhinelander, you can see from our Ripco Credit Union camera, the flag's blowing around a little bit with that wind speed that's moving through, and we'll probably see that throughout the rest of the night once again. As far as what we're tracking, at least our headlines, we're going to be looking at some mild temperatures tomorrow, then a rain-snow mix afternoon tomorrow as well. I'll have the forecast coming up.
Thank you, Jackson. The Marshfield Professional Police Association has signed a letter of no confidence in Police Chief Rick Gramza. The letter comes after news broke that Gramza is facing criminal charges, including sexual assault. The association is calling for Gramsa's immediate termination and says they fully stand by their fellow officer that was victimized.
As it stands right now, frankly, the Police and Fire Commission, on its own accord, based on what they've learned through the criminal complaints that were filed by Jackson County, I think they could proceed on a disciplinary matter just on the information that they have.
Gramsa has been on administrative leave for weeks without much information until last week. Palmer says it's unusual for something like this to be kept quiet for so long. An inmate at the Portage County Jail is now in stable condition at a hospital after an attempted suicide. Sheriff Mike Lucas says it happened in the early morning hours yesterday and officers were doing their routine rounds. A corrections officer found the male inmate hanging from his cell and officers quickly went in and brought him down.
I believe 6 or 7 corrections officers that responded and did outstanding work in regards to their job back in the corrections facility to revive the individual and also keep safety for all in the corrections facility.
He says they were able to transport the victim quickly to the hospital, and he thanks the corrections officers and local EMS for springing into action. Ballots are still being counted in several states, with Alaska now being called for President Trump by ABC and other media outlets. In Arizona, Biden is leading by almost 13,000 votes, and in North Carolina, the president is in the lead just over 73,000. Meanwhile, in Georgia, Biden is leading by a little more than 14,000. And today, the Republican Secretary of State said that the close margins call for a full hand recount in each county.
This will help build confidence. It will be an audit, a recount, and a recanvass all at once. It will be a heavy lift, but we will work with the counties to get this done in time for our state certification.
That announcement comes as Georgia prepares for a special election in January with 2 U.S. Senate seats open. More than 2/3 of Wisconsin counties have completed certifying the results of the presidential election. All counties must finish the work before President Trump can request a recount, as he said he will. Unofficial results show Joe Biden won the state by about 20,500 votes. As of today, 49 counties had submitted their canvassed results to the Wisconsin Elections Commission. The deadline is November 17th. Well, the Safe Elections Task Force of Wausau meeting this evening to discuss the ban of weapons at polling places. The group voting in favor of enacting the same weapons ban as the one in place at City Hall. That will only be in effect when the location is being used as a polling place. Now, the Public Health and Safety Committee will take up the matter at a future meeting. As for future elections, the city clerk said in the meeting they will also look to continue the drive-through voting event.